correct. It is the stuff that came from the Ecosexuals Having Sex with Trees website. That is what they had. That is what they brought to career Department of Justice prosecutors. And reportedly, the career prosecutors were like, where did you get this? I'm not sure that's a case. Thanks to Lord knows whatever's going on, apparently, inside that New York field office of the FBI, that little adventure, which is now reportedly over, that little adventure from the Breitbart.com readers inside this one FBI field office, that's what's out now in today's news 5 days before the election. That's what was breathlessly reported on Fox News last night, based on FBI sources. It was breathlessly reported on Fox last night as a whole new Hillary Clinton FBI investigation. One that was definitely going to lead to an indictment. Fox News has since walked back that part about it definitely leading to an indictment, but the Trump campaign is still running with it anyway. New investigation, Hillary Clinton definitely going to be indicted. And of course, you know what? Do you blame them? Of course the Trump campaign is running with this. You would expect them to. I mean, they bought and paid for it. The donor who is mostly funding the Trump presidential effort bought and paid for this. I'm not saying it hyperbolically. Trump's biggest donor paid the people who created this story to create this story. And so, of course, the Trump campaign is going to use it. But it's one thing to cook up a dubious conspiratorial political attack and fling it at your political opponent. It's another thing altogether to cook up a dubious conspiratorial political attack like this and have the FBI fling it at your opponent. That's a different thing. And that is what the FBI, at least part of the FBI, is now doing in this election. They're using stuff from Breitbart.com, apparently, as their research, as their evidence, and then they're leaking about their new investigation into this evidence to Fox News right before the election. And here's the really creepy part. Here's the prospect that the anti-Clinton Breitbart readers in this one office of the FBI, they're not just leaking the stuff to Fox News, not just leaking the stuff to the conservative media. Here's the prospect that they're leaking this stuff to the Trump campaign directly. Wayne Barrett, great reporter, writes for the Daily Beast today. He points out that this was Trump campaign advisor Rudy Giuliani on Fox News 2 days before FBI Director James Comey sent his bombshell letter to Congress about Hillary Clinton's emails this past Friday. This was Rudy Giuliani on Fox, unprompted, bringing this up on his own, 2 days before the FBI Director James Comey sent that letter. Watch this.
He's got a surprise or two that you're going to hear about in the next 2 days.
Right.
I mean, I'm talking about some pretty big surprise.
Oh, yeah, I heard you say that this morning. What do you mean?
You'll see.
Rudy Giuliani. You're lucky because we got to go. I'm out of time. Otherwise, I keep pressing you.
We're not going to go down, and we're certainly not going to stop fighting. We've got a couple things up our sleeve that should turn this around.
We got a couple things up our sleeve that should turn this around. You're going to hear about, we got a couple of things you're going to hear about over the next couple of days. I'm talking about some pretty big surprises. That was Rudy Giuliani 2 days before the director of the FBI sent that letter about Hillary Clinton and the email investigation that landed like such a bombshell in this campaign and arguably has put the presidency back in reach for Donald Trump. Rudy Giuliani 2 days before that saying, we've got a couple of things up our sleeve. You're going to hear about some things over the next couple of days, some pretty big surprises. How did Rudy Giuliani know that? Did somebody at the FBI leak to the Trump campaign 2 days in advance that the FBI was about to throw an anti-Hillary Clinton grenade into the presidential race? Today, Mark Hosenball at Reuters, who's a really good investigative reporter, Mark Hosenball reported at Reuters tonight that when the FBI director decided to send that letter to Congress about the Clinton email thing, quote, he was driven in part by a fear of leaks from within his own agency. Quote, 2 law enforcement sources familiar with the FBI's New York field office said a faction of investigators based in that office is known to be hostile to Hillary Clinton. Over at The Guardian newspaper today, their national security editor, Spencer Ackerman, who is a great reporter, Spencer reports this, quote, deep antipathy to Hillary Clinton exists within the FBI. It's according to multiple FBI sources speaking to The Guardian. That deep antipathy has spurred, quote, a rapid series of leaks damaging to Clinton's campaign just days before the election. One currently serving FBI agent tells The Guardian, quote, the FBI is Trumpland. Clinton is the Antichrist personified to some FBI personnel, and the reason why they are leaking is that they are pro-Trump. The FBI would not comment for the Guardian story. They would not give a comment to Mark Hosenball and his reporting about New York's FBI field office essentially trying to throw the election in favor of Trump. But that's where we are right now. If part of the FBI is a Breitbart.com fan club, and they're trying to use the FBI, the power of the FBI, to throw the election in Trump's favor, how does Clinton fight back against that? How does anybody? Joining us now is Spencer Ackerman, national security editor with the Guardian newspaper. Spencer, it's nice to see you. Thanks for being here.
Thank you very much for having me, Rachel.
So this current agent has told you the FBI is Trumpland. I read that reporting tonight along with this reporting we also got from Mark Hosenball, specifically naming the FBI New York field office. We've had other reporting from other sources pointing fingers at the New York field office saying, if you want to look, basically, if you want to know where these leaks are coming from and where the political impetus for them is coming, it's that office. Is it, in your reporting, in your estimation, is that the right place to look, or is this a more widespread thing you're reporting on?
I would say that it's a more widespread thing, that the New York field office is a particular locus, particularly when you look at its connections to Rudy Giuliani, as the Daily Beast reported today. Really powerful story there. But a lot of this seems to be rather widespread, seems to be rather persistent within the FBI itself. And now it's something that their director, Jim Comey, is having to deal with.
And you've got FBI sources, law enforcement sources coming to you talking about this. I'm not asking you anything about to point at your sources, but is part of what's happening now that there are some folks within the FBI who are concerned about the political interventions that are being made by some people within the FBI? Is that why people are talking to reporters about this?
A couple levels of this. First, there are people within the FBI and in law enforcement circles that are very disturbed that, in particular, the FBI appears to be throwing its lot in with Trump, especially when you look kind of broader at national security circles. Senior levels of the military, the officer corps, very much afraid of Trump, very much against, to the degree that they can be without being overtly political, not on board, certainly. Same thing with a lot of people within the CIA and around the intelligence community. So it's somewhat anomalous and striking that there are people this sympathetic to Trump in such a high-profile way. And then there's a kind of broader sense from within the FBI that this intervention that we saw with Comey on Friday with this very vague, innuendo-filled letter is crossing a Rubicon. A threshold has been crossed in American politics where now something much more familiar to the decades ago history of the FBI with J. Edgar Hoover, essentially controlling a lot of people's political fates with innuendo. No one thinks it's really quite that far, but if it rhymes in that kind of history, it creates a great deal of anxiety. And one more thing about this, there aren't a lot of people within the FBI that I've been able to find, and people sort of in law enforcement circles and intelligence circles and even in political circles broadly, who knows how this ends, who knows how the FBI walks this back, who knows what the FBI will behave like if Clinton is elected or even if Trump is elected.
Right. What's the relationship between the FBI as an agency and the FBI director with the new president once the FBI is known to have played a role, an overt political role, in trying to get one side elected? To that point, in terms of how this ends, I'm wondering how this ends just over the next 5 days. Do you have any reason to expect that we're going to hear more politically motivated leaks in either direction from the FBI over the next 5 days?
They seem to be coming every single day now. I mean, it's been an intense weekend. I have to tell you, when I started reporting this story, I didn't think it was going to lead to someone saying the FBI is Trumpland, or using the FBI with a description, rhyming with Portlandia, that, in my experience, a lot of people at the FBI are sober professionals. And to hear that this is the way things have developed really was very striking.
Yeah, and that they're using the power of that agency as a political op. This is a big deal. Spencer Ackerman, national security editor at The Guardian. Spencer, I haven't seen you in too long. It's really good to have you back.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, my friend. Great reporting. All right, lots to come tonight, including a big scoop that we have exclusively here. We've got a story that's going to break tomorrow morning. We've got it here first tonight. It has a very impressive visual associated with it, and that's coming right up. Stay with us.